After a backbreaker in Tampa, the Carolina Hurricanes have decided to break some hearts of their own in a way of a back-to-back. Hey, Canada, move on over. There's a Category 5 coming for you.
You're Locked On Hurricanes, your daily podcast on the Carolina Hurricanes. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome to a Saturday edition of Locked On Hurricanes, your team every day, part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Thank you to the everyday for making this your first listen of the day. Sometimes 5 days a week, covering everything about your Carolina Hurricanes. I'm your host, Zach Martin. I'm the credentialed Carolina Hurricanes beat writer over at the Hawkeyes, also the co-host of the Surgecast, which is a weekly Carolina Hurricanes podcast, along with all my duties here at Locked On Hurricanes. Got a fun special Saturday edition of the podcast as we get to recap both of the Hurricanes games against the Maple Leafs and the Vancouver Canucks from Thursday and Friday. And in between that, we get to hear from Jordan Staal, the captain, after his hat-trick night against the Maple Leafs. Sorry to everyone for not being able to get a Friday episode out. Unfortunately, it was a little bit crazy with a lot of technical issues. Was not able to get that out, so I do apologize. So instead of doing a Friday edition where it was a recap preview, the Saturday edition is going to be two recaps with a little bit of a post-game press conference in the middle of that. So, like I said, once again, apologies for having a Friday episode out. That's why I figured, heck, let's do a Saturday episode just to make up for it. And what a way to kick off a Saturday. What a way to kick off the weekend, because coming into this back-to-back, the fact that the Hurricanes just did a back-to-back over the weekend to start the week, get that Tuesday game they had to make up at Tampa, losing a heartbreaker, and then play two more games Thursday and Friday. So you're talking 5 games in a span of 6 days, and the fact we have Anaheim coming up on Sunday. So it's a lot of hockey games for the Hurricanes. So the question was, how are they going to do against a team like Toronto who's won 5 straight games? And you're still talking about the Vancouver Canucks, who got Elias Pettersson back, that Demko back, Quinn Hughes is back. So, that's going to be a team that a lot of people are looking at as possible playoff contenders as well. And how are the Hurricanes going to play after losing in a heartbreak fashion against Tampa? Well, how about back-to-back wins, and what a way to do that. And first off, let's just go over to Toronto. And for that game, it was their first matchup of the season. The Hurricanes came out on the winning end 6-3 while they did give up a power play goal while Toronto had 2 chances, they did get a shorthanded goal before the Leafs power play goal, so it almost kind of washes itself out. Unfortunately, they go 0-3, but they did outshoot the Maple Leafs 34-33. And honestly, the first 7.5 minutes of that game, you thought it was going to be all Toronto. And Rod Burnhamore said it too. It looked like beer league hockey, beer league play. Looks like him and the alumni were just getting together and playing a little bit of shimmy, because that's what it was. For the fact that it was just a lot of soft passes, really not great defending, and the fact that the Maple Leafs scored within 2 minutes from Nick Robertson, and then almost 7.5 minutes into the game, William Nylander on his third straight breakaway finally beats Pierre Kachekov, basically goes off post and goes into the net. It's 2-0 Toronto, and you're kind of like, okay, this is going to be one of those games. And now you're seeing why Toronto won 5 in a row, and they were really flexing their muscle. And the Hurricanes were having, once again, another slow start, which, as recently we have very much seen that from the Hurricanes. But luckily, things turned really quick, about 6 minutes later, and this turned into a Carolina Hurricanes running the show, and almost the sequence with the first goal for Carolina. It gives you the playoff reminder against the New York Islanders, where there's not one but 2 times where the Hurricanes scored within 10 seconds of each other, and that's what the Hurricanes did, except this was in 17 seconds. Eric Robinson for his 10th of the year. You love to see it. Ty Smith gets his first assist. It is now 2-1 Toronto. Leads cut in half, and you're feeling, okay, the Hurricanes might have a little bit of life now. We're back in this one. And then 17 seconds later, it'd be the captain, Jordan Staal, getting his 6th goal of the season with an Andrei Svechnikov and a Jordan Martinook assist. You'd love to see a great pass by Andre to find Jordan almost right in the slot and scores. Makes it 2-2, basically nullifying the Leafs' really hot start. And, hey, if you're looking for a way to get back into the game, well, that's definitely one way to do it when you do it in 17 seconds. End of the first period. What a wild 4 goals to start the game off. And in the second period, well, Jordan Staal was not quite done. As I talked about earlier with the fact that Toronto did get a power play goal, well, right before that, it was a shorthanded marker. This one was from the captain himself for his 2nd of the game, 7th of the season. Jordan Martinook's 2nd assist of the night for his 11th, and Jacob Slavin for his 11th. 35 seconds into the period. You love to see it. Just the fact that the captain was in the right place, right time, put it home with the shorty. Of course, with the fact that right place, right time means, heck, you get a nice little 2-on-1. Marner loses a skate. Jordan basically, Staal wide open and just puts it right past Joseph Woll. And then not too long after, Austin Matthews does tie with a power play goal. So now you're 3-3. It is a wild back and forth game. But then it was the rookie Jackson Blake, after some great passing from Dmitry Orlov and Juha Jääskä. Basically, Blake just almost goes down to the right face-off circle, basically crashes the net and beats Woll in the 5-hole for his 9th of the season and Juha Jääskä's first assist and point in the NHL. And I will say this, Juha Jääskä, this guy, he is really going to make an interesting case to stay in Carolina a lot longer when we get a lot of bodies back, because he's playing some phenomenal hockey for the Hurricanes. So big props to him for his first point. He's really been showing out. So now you're 4-3 Carolina after 2 periods. It's already 7 goals in this game, and it's always Canes Leafs. There's always a weird game. Ever since the David Ayres game, it has always been a weird one between these two teams. So you thought scoring 35 seconds into the game was wild, into a period was wild. Well, how about 20 seconds? Well, that was the case for the Hurricanes. They went up 5-3, 20 seconds into the third period, and who else but the captain once again to complete the hat trick for his 8th of the season, tipping in a Brent Burns shot, and Jordan Martinook getting his 3rd assist of the game, which was the first time in his career where he's almost played 650 games, was able to get the 3 assists for the first time ever, and Jordan Staal gets the hat trick, the first guy to be a teenager to get a hat trick and a guy above 35 to get a hat trick in his career. You love to see it from the captain. Hats are going on the ice. What a way to just be hot on the weekend where your brother's going to get his name retired on Sunday, his number retired on Sunday. You scored in the game before. Now you come into this one against Toronto and you put up a 3-spot. I mean, you love to see it from the captain. He's like, all right, we're going to celebrate Eric. Well, let me get a little on this action, get some magic going. And he did just that. Maple Leafs are putting on a lot of chances, but then Seth Jarvis with the empty netter at 16:23 into the third period ices it. It's 6-3. What a absolute fantastic game for the Hurricanes outside the first 7.5 minutes. It was kind of dicey there, but all things considered, what a way to turn around for the Hurricanes. This is the kind of the Hurricanes team you want to see, minus the first 7.5 minutes. This was a game where you're like, okay, this is the Hurricanes team that we know, that we saw earlier this season, that was just going out there. Yeah, they might be down, but they'll come back and then absolutely just boat race the rest of the way through. And that's kind of what you saw. Throwing hits, being in the right places, basically just outworking the Leafs. And the captain himself, as Steve Dangle puts it on his LFR, his Leafs Fan React, the most underrated Leafs killer is Jordan Staal. And the reason why he's such an underrated Leafs killer, how about in 25 career games against the Maple Leafs, Jordan Staal has 37 points. What does that come out to? I'm glad you asked. That comes out to 1.48 points per game. So big shout out to producer Drew, and also thanks, Steve, for bringing that up. You'd love to see it. And the fact that Jordan Staal is the most underrated Leafs killer, for the fact that you're talking 37 points in 25 career games, a 1.48, and he is a shade over 0.5 points per game in his entire career. But when he plays the Maple Leafs, he will absolutely donkey stomp them almost every game. And he has to live in some nightmares, a lot of those guys. I know he's definitely leaving that into some Leafs fans now, because you look at the fact of just how he was able to put it in a way where it's like, oh my goodness, just look at that. Just an absolute fantastic game from Jordan Staal. Just an overall great game by the Canes. You love to see it. For me, this is like, could this be the turning point game that we needed from the Hurricanes to, like, okay, it's a measuring stick game against the Leafs. These guys are talked about as cup contenders. Mitch Marner's having a season. Austin Matthews is back and having a season. William Nylander and all this other stuff. But then you look at the stats after the game, though. How about Matthew Knies -5, Austin Matthews -6, and Mitch Marner -6? Oof, Maroons. If you're a Leafs fan, you hate to see that. But if you're a Hurricanes fan, you love to see that, because that's a 6-3 win over the Leafs. Snap their 5-game winning streak, and that is one way to kick off a back-to-back. Now, speaking of the captain and stuff, we will actually hear from him after the Toronto Maple Leafs game, where he talked about his hat trick performance against those guys. So stick around as we'll listen to that and get my reaction from that here in a second on a special Saturday edition of Locked On Hurricanes. From big upsets to game-winning drives, the NFL playoffs are better with FanDuel, because right now new customers can bet $5 and get $200 in bonus bets guaranteed. That's $200 in bonus bets, win or lose. The FanDuel app gives you everything you need for live bets, same game parlays, and so much more. Just visit FanDuel.com to join today and get started with $200 in bonus bets. Once again, that's FanDuel.com. Make this playoff season unforgettable with FanDuel, an official sportsbook partner of the NFL. Welcome back to segment 2 of Locked On Hurricanes, your team every day. Like I said at the end of segment 1, we're going to jump into the post game after the Maple Leafs game. You hear from Jordan Staal after his hat trick performance. So without further ado, let's jump into that right now.
Just wanted to play some good hockey for that big game. But no, it was a good night.
You spent a lot of time doing these scrums after losses. Is it nice to be here for some other reason instead of being the punching bag a little bit?
Yeah, no, it's good, obviously, to chip in and play well for a win. And obviously it's been up and down lately, and even tonight was kind of up and down again. We still got to be tighter and better, but obviously it's still hard to win in this league, and we'll take a win for sure.
Was your brother or family here for this game?
I think my parents were here. The rest of the crew's rolling in shortly.
So we probably expect you to do this again next game?
Hey, that's always the plan.
You talk about that. So you hope your parents are here. This is year 19 for you, and that's another hat trick. I mean, there's only so much runway left. What does a game like this mean to you personally?
Yeah, it's cool. Obviously getting rewarded, with cookies is always a good thing. And you guys have seen my game. It hasn't changed, and it's been hard to play against us, finding ways to win games in a more simpler fashion. But when I get rewarded with them, like I said, it always feels good. And I'm going to continue to try to help in that way and any other way I can for this group.
Probably also pretty nice not to have to wait 13 years for hat tricks this time too. Huh?
Yeah, that was a little shorter one than last time. So I know the boys were all over me about that one, but I shortened this one up.
Martin had an assist, I think, on all three.
Yeah, Marty was great. Yeah, he was a beast tonight again. He's been so fun to play with. He's such a energizer bunny. He just goes and just makes it so difficult for the forecheck, and I'm just kind of reading off of him. And, he made some great plays tonight, and just I can't say enough about being able to play with him. It's been a lot of fun.
Obviously, Carey has been a great fit, but Svech adds a different element to your line too. And obviously, nice setup on one of your goals.
Yeah. The first goal was great. They creeped in on two of them, and he's big and strong and one tight turn, and he's got an opportunity and with an open guy, and he's obviously got the skill to make a play too. So he's he's obviously had an up and down season as well, and I think he's really starting to get his stride and play some good hockey. And I really enjoy playing with him. He's physically strong. He can do all the things, and we just got to keep doing that.
Brind'Amour obviously had to choose who to give the game MVP to. You get the hat trick, but you also get the rookie who gets his first career point. Who wound up getting the hat tonight?
Actually, it was our chef. Actually, so it was. He had a big. The food looks great. I mean, I'm telling you, he had a big day, and no, it's not just the boys. There's a full team back here. There's everyone, from training staff to coach staff to all the food. So it's we have a family here. We're all together in one goal, and he had a big day today.
You guys got the early one in third, but there's still a lot of game left, and Cooch really stepped up for you guys, especially that third period, kind of keeping you guys ahead.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. Like I said, I was talking kind of sloppy. Obviously, the first wasn't great, and then. Giving up probably one too many scoring chances in the third but Cooch made some great saves to not give him any momentum and found a way to vary it.
Jordan, both you and your brother have had some success against the Maple Leafs throughout your career. Just to fit the theme of the weekend, what's a fond memory that you have of growing up playing hockey with your brother?
Yeah, well, he was the one that texted me before the game saying it's go time against that team. So obviously it's always fun to beat the team I grew up watching, and Thunder Bay. There's more than enough people I know that are fans of them, and I'm sure my phone will be lit up. So it's always a good feeling, and beating that team. So it was good.
Big thank you to Jordan Staal and of course the Carolina Hurricanes for that. And just getting to hear from him and the fact that just how you see how happy and energetic the captain is, especially the fact that how this stretch has been, before the Toronto game, and you're looking at a team who was, 10-11-2, over the last 23, and coming to this game, get a hat trick, you get a huge one. Of course, being the team that you grew up watching in Thunder Bay, Ontario, and you can just tell he was really happy. He was just really energetic for the fact that texting his brother before the game. They always play really great against the Maple Leafs because, like I said, you talked about 37 points in 25 games against them, and then you have his line mate for the last couple seasons, George Martinook, having an insane game as well for 3 apples. So you could definitely tell the captain was just really excited for the fact that outside of him scoring goals, Martinook had a huge night. Juha Jääskä had a huge night as well because he got his first assist, and Blaker got a goal too. So it was just a huge night for the team overall. And it's funny you listen to the fact that it was the team chef who got the hat because and that's the one great quality about Jordan Staal is the fact that he's the captain, but he understands it's setting the example, leading by example, and the fact that he knows that it just goes beyond the players. You're talking the coaches, the training staff, the chefs, the people who work the arena and stuff like that, security. It goes just beyond the guys on the ice. Like the organization as a whole, it's a whole group effort. It's a family. It's a team effort. It's almost like a family there. And the fact that you put, everyone puts in their weight, and that's just something that the Hurricanes do. And that's what Jordan Staal embraces. He's been here for a very, very long time with Hurricanes. He's basically he's going to tie his brother in terms of number of years with the Hurricanes very, very soon. And it's one of those things where it's just, you talk about guys who cement themselves as Carolina Hurricanes. And yes, while he was drafted by Pittsburgh, won a cup there. He's been with the Hurricanes for so long. It's almost like you just know Jordan Staal as a Carolina Hurricane. You almost sometimes forget he was a Pittsburgh Penguin just because that's how long he's been here. And, nothing to discredit to what his, time in Pittsburgh, but he's just been here for so long. He's been a captain for so long. And it's just, when you think of the Hurricanes, when it comes to leadership, he's just been there and done that. So the fact that you got, Eric Staal number retiring soon, he was a former captain. Now his brother was an alternate, then became a captain, and the main captain himself. So the fact that you got 2 brothers who captained the Hurricanes in different eras, it goes to show that the Staal family is really entangled themselves and woven themselves into the lore that is the Carolina Hurricanes. So you love to see that, and just the fact that scores a goal against Tampa, gets 3 against Toronto. It's just, what more can you really say about Jordan Staal and just how great of the last couple of games that you had, and the fact he gets a hat trick, didn't have to wait super long between the other ones, but just doing it in a way where it's like, all right, Cap, hats off to you. That's one way to do it for sure. But that wasn't the only game he scored in, as the Carolina Hurricanes played the Vancouver Canucks on Friday night, and boy, we were in for a very chippy game that saw a pair of goals and just an overall great performance by the guy in the net. So stick around, as we'll do that here in a second on a special Saturday edition of Locked On Hurricanes. I love going to live events, whether it's sports, music, theaters, or comedy. One of my favorite memories was attending a hockey game last year. The energy and the excitement were unforgettable. Now, Gametime has made it even easier to get tickets for your favorite events with their new feature, Gametime Picks. This feature filters out the fluff to show you only incredible deals on great seats, so you don't have to waste time searching through thousands of tickets. Take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Gametime. Download the Gametime app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONNHL for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account, redeem code LOCKEDONNHL for $20 off. Download Gametime today. What time is it? Well, it's game time. Welcome back to a segment 3 of Locked On Hurricanes, your team every day. So like I said, the Hurricanes played on Thursday night against the Toronto Maple Leafs, and of course this was the second half of a second back-to-back in the span of a week, and this one was against the Vancouver Canucks. Now, if we all remember the last time these two teams faced each other, well, it was back in Vancouver on October 20th to cap off the North Carolina State Fair road trip, and this is where the Hurricanes won in 4-3 in overtime thanks to Sebastian Aho, capping off the 5-1-0 road trip. And this was going to be very interesting for the fact that you got, Quinn Hughes was back, Elias Pettersson just came back for this game, Thatcher Demko also came back as well. They came into Carolina Thursday night. They were fresh. They were ready for them. And the Hurricanes just played Toronto the night before. So you figure, okay, the Hurricanes won 6-3. Slow start, came on strong. How are they going to be against the Canucks? Are they going to be fresh? Plus, you also got Dustin Tokarski in goal. And honestly, right from the outset, this was a complete 60-minute game from the Hurricanes. Like, I even mentioned on social media, was the Maple Leafs game the one that just jump-started the Hurricanes, kind of re-energized them to play the team that went 14-4 to start the season, had that 8-game winning streak? Well, we're still having to see, hopefully, if they can string more games together, that'd be great. But as you saw throughout this game against Vancouver, 20-14 in shots, all Carolina. No team went double digits in any period. It was 7-5, 5-4, and 8-5, all by Carolina. There was one point Vancouver had one shot in the third. I think it was the second or third period for a while. 6 power plays total for both, 3 each. No one scored on the power play, so both penalty kills went 3 for 3. Vancouver was out hitting the Hurricanes 25-10. But this is the insane stat from the Hurricanes in this one: 27 blocked shots. So while Dustin Tokarski wasn't really seeing a lot of shots all game, he looked good from the outset. It was it's still kind of tough trying to find a way to get yourself going when you're seeing less than 10 shots a period, but still finding a way to stay strong. And big shout out to him, because that was his third career AHL shutout and a 14-save performance. He'd love to see that from Dustin Tokarski. And the fact that the Hurricanes blocked 27 shots. Now, while I say that the third period, there was a couple big saves from Jordan Martin. It looked like he got shaken up a little bit. He did have to go for x-rays after the game, so we don't really know what the update is. And, of course, with the Hurricanes being off Saturday, we're not really going to know until Sunday when it's, the Hurricanes are playing the Ducks and it's Eric Staal Day. So we're going to be waiting for a little bit to see what comes of that with Jordan Martin. Hopefully it's not too serious. But, yeah, it looks like he took one of the shots off the hand. So hopefully it's not a Jack Drury situation where he blocks a shot and his hand breaks. So hopefully Jordan Martin is okay. But the fact that you got 27 blocks and your goalie only got 14 saves, it goes to show the Hurricanes played some vintage Hurricanes defense of structured hockey. And I said going into the Toronto game, played structured defense, and of course he scored 2 goals in 7.5 minutes for the Leaf. But the fact that you held the Canucks to 14 shots through 60 minutes of hockey, never touched double digits once. You feel like it was just the game that the Hurricanes weren't in control of, and that's basically what it was. Because after scoring a hat trick, you think Jordan Staal's like, okay, got a hat trick, got the game back against Tampa. You're feeling pretty good for how your week was. Well, 14:41 into the period. How about Jordan Staal once again scores another one, gets his 9th of the season. Dmitry Orlov gets his 16th assist, and the captain once again. 5 goals in 3 games. That's 5 and 5. Basically, he scored 5 goals in 5 periods. In his last 4 games, the captain's got 8 points. 5 goals, 3 assists. Talk about having yourself a week, Jordan Staal. Because we all know the shine's going on for his brother on Sunday, but Jordan's like, just hold up a minute. Don't forget about me now. Maybe the captain of this Carolina Hurricanes team, my brother Eric did really good, but not so fast, my friends, because talk about an insane run over the last few games. Talking 4 games, 8 points, 5 of those are goals. You just scored a hat trick the night before. You scored the first one for the team. Now you're up 1-0. You're like, okay, the captain is absolutely in fuego. Like, we're not the supernova hot yet, like, some of the other guys are, but you're talking in fuego for the captain. You love to see how Jordan's been playing. The fact that, like I said, went off against Toronto, comes in and plays Vancouver the next night. Everyone's tired, scores a goal. You love to see it. It's 1-0 after one. You're like, all right, you'll take that. A way better start in the first 20 minutes than we've seen in a while for the Hurricanes. That's great. Talk about playing some really good hockey. The fact that you also held the Canucks to only 5 shots that period. You look at the second period, you held them to 4. You only had 5, but the one that really mattered most was Andrei Svechnikov getting his 14th of the season. The captain gets another multi-point night. How about his 14th assist of the season? 137 into the second period. It seems like the last couple of games, the Hurricanes are scoring quick goals, and you love to see it. The fact that Jordan Staal picked it up on the sidewall, gets it behind the net to Andrei. Andrei Svechnikov skates around the goal, stops, almost pivots back towards the goal, and does his own NHL version of what a slam dunk would be in the NBA. He's got like 2 or 3 guys in front of him. He's got Thatcher Demko in the goal, and he just shoots it, goes through everyone and scores. He basically posterizes 3 defenders and a goaltender to score that goal. And that was just an absolutely nasty sequence by Andrei Svechnikov. And Trip Tracy has said it perfectly. The Tampa game and the Toronto game, and even this game against Vancouver, we are now seeing peak power forward Andrei Svechnikov. Ever since he got placed with the Jordans, which is what hopefully Rod was seeing, is maybe those guys would go get him going. Safe to say they got him going. That goal by Andrei Svechnikov, that was his 4th game with a point. He is now in a 4-game point streak. Yeah, I think Andrei's kind of a little bit back right now in the fact that we are seeing peak power forward of what he is. So just absolutely goes in, dunks it on 3 defenders and a goaltender. It's 2-0. You're feeling really good for the Hurricanes. That third line is absolutely buzzing with Svech and the Jordans. And you're in the period 2-0. You're like, okay, it's 2-0 after 2. You're out shooting them 12-9. Okay, that's not bad. Now, what's the third period going to bring? Because 2-goal leads are the not the safest leads in the NHL. That's for sure. Well, how about the fact that the Hurricanes put up 8 shots, Vancouver only put up 5. And basically that was it. It was just 2 triple penalties to Jalen Chatfield and Elias Pettersson within 5 minutes, which was absolutely weird. And then you get a high sticking from Derek Forbort and Martin Necas. And then with 5 seconds left, Quinn Hughes hooks Seth Jarvis, who was trying to go for the empty netter. That was pretty much it. That was pretty much your third period. You had 4 penalties, 2 on Jalen Chatfield alone. And Dustin Tokarski basically shuts the door. Basically, the defense shuts the door. And, that's how Tick got his third career AHL shutout in a 14-save performance. The Hurricanes have now won back-to-back games, 6-3 against Toronto, 2-0 over Vancouver, and they've completely swept the 2-game season set against the Canucks. So there you go. You just won yourself a series. You didn't let them tie it, and the captain gets his, like I said, 5th goal in 3 games. He's got 3 assists. He's got 8 points in his last 4. Talk about just having a great start to the captain. Andrei Svechnikov was on a 4-game point streak. Tokarski got the shutout. Just an overall great performance from the Hurricanes. Yeah, it wasn't a lot of shots, but talk about some great stellar defense to not even give them very much high danger chances, and the fact that Tick found a way to just stay focused. And there you go. Now you got your 26th win of the season. You go into the weekend with, Eric Stahl's retirement against the Ducks, which all that starts at, I think it was like 3:20. There's going to be the ceremonies, and the game starts at 5. So, make sure, if you're not going to the game, make sure to check your listings early, because it's going to be before 3:30 when everything starts up. But you go into the weekend to celebrate Eric Staal, and you got 2 huge wins against the Leafs and the Canucks, and now you're 26-15-2 going into the weekend, just playing some really solid hockey after the first 7.5 minutes. Ever since then, it's just been all Hurricanes the last 2 games, so you love to see it. And now, points percentage-wise, with still a game in hand, they are tied with the New Jersey Devils for 2nd place in the Metro Division. So, as tight as it is right now, the top 3 in the Metro, I'm just saying there's going to be a storm is a surgeon in Raleigh, North Carolina, and you'll love to see it. So, big congrats to Cap for another big game from him. Congratulations to Tick for his 14-save performance. And great to see Andrei Svechnikov being Andrei Svechnikov once again. So you love to see that. And now it's all eyes are focused on Sunday against the Ducks and celebrating Eric Staal. Well, guys, I'll wrap up a Saturday special edition of Locked on Hurricanes. This is the first listen of the day for your second week. Well, why don't you go check out Locked on Fantasy Hockey? Become a fantasy hockey expert and get the edge over your league mates with daily tips from Steal and Flip. Find Locked on Fantasy Hockey on YouTube or wherever you listen to your podcasts. Now, if you want to keep up with me and everything I got going on covering your Carolina Hurricanes, well, you can check me out at OneTrueZach on X. The podcast is LO_Hurricanes. I'm also on Blue Sky at the Zachary Martin. I do have link trees in both of my bios. Or if you want to go check out the articles that I got over at the Hockey Writers, well, just go to thehockeywriters.com, search my author page at Zach Martin, and you'll find all my stuff over there. A lot of recaps as of late, because we played a lot of hockey this week for your Carolina Hurricanes. Now, if you want to go check out my other podcast, The Surgecast, well, it's just The Surgecast on all podcast platforms and on YouTube. For this show, Google, Spotify, iHeartRadio, wherever you listen to your podcast, Locked on Hurricanes. Subscribe, follow, leave a 5-star rating and review, because I might just read it on the show. For YouTube, Locked on Hurricanes. Subscribe, hit the bell notification, make sure it's on all so you don't miss an episode at all. Leave a thumbs up to let me know if you liked the episode as well. Share the channel with all of your other friends who are Caniacs, because they become everydayers just like you. Once again, sorry everyone for not getting a Friday episode, but I hope everyone enjoyed this Saturday special episode that recaps both the Leafs and the Canucks game. I hope everyone has a great Saturday. Thank you to listening to this podcast on a great Saturday. Hope everyone enjoyed the snow. Hopefully everyone stayed safe with all the with all that snow coming down in North Carolina. Hope everyone has a great weekend. Hope everyone enjoys the ceremony for Eric Staal jersey retirement on Sunday. Of course, we're going to talk about that Sunday night going into the Monday episodes, so make sure to stay tuned for that. But guys, I hope everyone has a great day. Have a great weekend. Until next time, as always, let's go Canes.